So our ever-expanding merry band of resonators just got some more information on Twitter from Wuthering Waves, guys. And I wanted to talk about something else as well, but let's just quickly note this. I did say about a month ago, when we first got the drip marketing for both of these characters, actually, I was actually right for a change. I said that I think Brant would be fusion, going off his name, what the name means in Old English and other languages, torch, lighting, fire, branding, all this sort of stuff made sense to me that he was fusion. And I said he was a sword user. Sid Neymar said he thought he was a Broadblade user, and I came to the conclusion afterwards, I think I do agree with him. Turns out, dude's a sword user, so this is really cool to see. So, fusion, sword user. If we go over to Phoebe as well, we can see Phoebe is Spectro and she uses a rectifier. Again, I said this was probably the most likely in my opinion. She does scream Spectro, right? And probably a rectifier user in just the way she is, her whole demeanour. I thought it was either that or a sword, but I leaned into rectifier more than anything. And the reason for Spectro is just because of her being part of the Order of the Deep, the Oracles to the Divine, Phoebe being part of the Oracle of Delphi in Greek mythology, the people who converse with divinity, and what screams divinity more than Spectro in Wuthering Waves, so it kind of made sense to me. So we know that both of these now are, she's a Spectro rectifier user, and he is a fusion sword user. But what I wanted to say, this leads us on to the character now that's kind of been, you know, lurking in the shadows, so to speak, in regards to what they are and what they do, and that's Zany. Now, regards to her actual attributes, I'm still totally on the fence in what she is and what she's going to do. Maybe people have spoke about her just being a physical character. I'm starting to lean into the potential now that maybe she's an aero character. But does this mean that Zany is a Broadblade user? Because if you go off the other characters, obviously, we've got Carlotta, a gun user. We have Rachia as a gun user. We now have Brant as a sword user. We've got Phoebe as a rectifier user. And if we believe and assume that Kuro are using all of the main weapon types for each of these characters, that leads us to believe that potentially Zany is a Broadblade user, which is quite interesting. We've only seen her using a shield, haven't we? And we've never seen her equipped with a sword either. Or potentially, are we seeing a new weapon type? Probably not. Probably not. We're going to get into that conversation actually in the next video. We've spoke about that. But it makes me think it's a Broadblade. I did say when we initially saw the shield, potentially the shield could split apart. Maybe it could be gauntlets. That'd look cool. But it makes me think now that maybe it is a sword that she uses, a Broadblade, should I say, sorry. When we did see her put the shield down in the cutscene where Cetus attacks Raguna, we see her put the shield down, and if you look at it from the angle from the front after the initial attack, it does look like it separates. Now, does that mean it separates literally into a sword? Maybe not, because we know when it comes to Wuthering Waves, the weapons themselves don't actually literally represent what the resonators using in combat, if that makes sense. Just take Jian, for example, using his spear, Yinlin using Zapstring and the Dail, rather than using the rectifier itself. So we know these characters don't necessarily use the weapon that's equipped with them in the fight. It's more of a figurative representation. They just fit into a category, so to speak, don't they? So it'd be very much interesting to see how that works. But yeah, let's get back to these two anyway. So I want to know what's your thoughts. Are you happy that he's a fusion sword user? Personally, I am. This is what I expected, and I'm hoping that he's going to somehow be a best in slot for Changli, whether he is the main DPS and she now can be a full-on sub-DPS to support him with her outro, and dude's going to lean into his Resonance Liberation, and obviously she's going to buff his fusion along with the Liberation as well. Is he going to be potentially to work with her in a quick swap system, because that's what kind of people use at the moment, and now Changli can kind of fit both roles. A lot of people use her as a main DPS in terms of a quick swap team, and a lot of people use her as a sub DPS, I guess, or a dual DPS sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see if he works well with Changli. And as well, is Phoebe going to fit the role as a support / sub DPS buffer for the team for Jinsei? It would make sense that she kind of fits that role for me personally. Maybe she's a main DPS, who knows? But I wouldn't think she is a sustain character, although she fits the bill in terms of who she is, what she's about. I just think we've got Verena now. It makes sense that she kind of fits into the role to support Jinsei now that Carlotta stole Zhezhe, and a lot of people do use Zhezhe as Jinxie's support or sub DPS. So it would make sense that she kind of fits that role now to fill in for Jinxie being a member down. I guess there's some little vignettes here as well, which I haven't watched. Should we check these out? Little note here as well. To what new stage will life take us? Haha, no matter. I shall embrace whatever it holds in store for me. Let's have a look at this then, shall we? Okay, I think this is the initial one that we saw, right? Yeah, this is just the very first artwork that we saw. Okay, interesting. So I'm curious, do you think they're doing this to get ahead of leaks, maybe? I'm not too sure. I haven't seen any of the leaks around these characters. I've been a very good boy. I've seen one leak now since 1.2, and I think that was around the character models getting damaged in combat. So that's been good, actually. This is like, a lot of this is all, you know, new for me, so I'm glad about that. But it just, like, you know, when we look at the artwork, this is very, like, 1.0 type artwork, isn't it? And have they ever done this before, where they just show the character name, the character attribute and the sword? The marketing almost feels haphazard sometimes with Wuthering Waves, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like they've gone into a proper cycle in how they drip market characters. Kind of feels all over the place sometimes. I guess it keeps us on our toes. And again, you know, very 1.0 in regards to the artwork. Let's have a look at the little vignette for Phoebe as well then, shall we? May light eternal beckon us on. And again, yeah, same thing. It's just a scan over the image that we've just saw, isn't it, as well? So this is nothing that we haven't seen already, but we're just getting obviously the fact that she's a rectifier and she's a spectral user there as well. So interesting. Okay. Hey, I'm always up for new information. I'm curious to see now, when will we see the information for Zany? Is she going to be a Broadblade user as I expect, or are they going to subvert our expectations and she just comes out as a gauntlet user or something? Because you know what? I think that shield would look sick as a gauntlet, you know? It gets bigger and she can put it down as a shield, and then, you know, it can split apart and shrink down to fit on her arms, and it would look a badass gauntlet. That would, actually. It would look badass. But, you know, I'm starting to lean towards that she is a Broadblade user now. So, yeah, okay. So we've got information on these two characters. Again, unusual the way they've done it, but we know Brant is a fusion sword user, and Phoebe is a spectral rectifier user. Again, I'm going to have a conversation with you guys about weapons in the next upcoming videos. We've done the video, and I'm curious to see what you guys have got to say about that as well. Be interesting. It's all relating around the survey and all that good stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Is this what you expected? It's pretty much what I expected. So yeah, no surprises, I guess, in that regard. I guess the biggest surprise is that I'm right for once. You know, I'll take that. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.